Leaning into my new role as a freelance 3D asset designer, I began my first major project in May of 2022. Adrenaline coursed through my veins, fueling my determination to shine in my skill set under the scrutinizing eyes of the industry. Freelancing had its downsides. I now had to grapple with granular elements like project management, deadlines, and client expectations, elements I had naively overlooked as a student. Despite the mingling anxiety and excitement, I nurtured a will to make my mark on this digital canvas, channeling my energy into creating something worth commemorating. I felt that creative itch, a bittersweet pull, a yearning to see my abstract ideas transform into tangible art on the screen before me. Meticulously, I spent hours poring over the smallest details, pushing the boundaries of my comfort zone, and exploring the depths of my own creativity. Every pixel was an opportunity to create something innovative. Every model conceived was akin to giving life to a piece of my imagination, my thoughts sewn into intricate, three-dimensional realities. The detailed craftsmanship digital art required was akin to painting a masterpiece, except this time I was the artist. The canvas was my computer screen, and my brush was my skill set in virtual reality design. It was a fitting initiation into the professional arena, a stark contrast from the safety of school projects under the guidance of familiar mentors. This was an independent venture, and with each passing day I realized the intricacies, challenges, and the underlying thrill that came with freelancing. Learning new techniques, finding alternate solutions to unprecedented challenges, adjusting to the rhythm of self-reliance and personal accountability. It was a trajectory of personal and professional growth. There was a serenity in the disorder, a peaceful resonance amid the clamor of curiosity, learning, and growing. As the deadline approached, my nerves frayed, yet a sense of accomplishment pervaded, knowing that I was inching closer to my goals. Every late-night work session, every coffee-infused brainstorm, every triumphant eureka moment over a challenging model, all of it began shaping my identity as a freelance digital artist. The challenges were plenty, but so were the victories, and the satisfaction of visualizing and building immersed worlds was satisfaction unparalleled. The completion of my first freelance project was yet another milestone in my journey, a testament to my relentless pursuit of actualizing my ideas into the realms of reality. As I took a step back and looked at my creation, I saw my dreams, my hard work, my passion intersecting on the screen before me. It was the first page of a new chapter, a dazzling start to my professional journey into the world of freelance 3D asset designing. A week into the journey of my first project, I met someone who would become an instrumental figure in my career. Liam was a fellow digital artist, whom I met during a professional meetup in downtown New York. The vibrant aura of creativity and innovation that enveloped these meetups was invigorating, and though I had attended such events before as a student, being there as a professional imbued me with a new sense of purpose and belonging. Straight away, I appreciated Liam's innovative ideas and shared passion for VR and 3D design. The way he articulated his thoughts on the transformative and immersive potentials of technology and art resonated strongly with my own beliefs and aspirations. I recognized that his insights and inspirations added an extra spark to refine my work. What started with sharing design ideas and new tech trends evolved into a fruitful professional bond, one that would later offer me an enriching collaborative experience. During that time, Liam introduced me to a whole new world of digital art and the endless possibilities of creating immersive experiences. Innovative, inspiring, and inclusive, these sessions became a unique platform for us to brainstorm, exchange insights, and disrupt boundaries. I remember sitting at a coffee shop, laptops open, hands moving in swift gestures and heads bent in concentration as we designed, discussed, and dissected our work. Our conversations often lasted late into the night, fueled by passion and an endless flow of coffee. It was intense and exhilarating. Every discussion was a chance to broaden our horizons, an opportunity for me to amplify my skills and proficiency in VR design. These professional interactions with Liam pushed me to experiment, to unravel and hone my own creative prowess. Surrounded by this energy and under Liam's influence, I felt my professional growth accelerating. My skills began to develop at an astonishing pace. My confidence bloomed, and I began broadening my depth and width in design. In turn, this improved my workflow and had noticeable positive contingencies on my project. This served as a testament that professional growth is not a solitary endeavor. It is nurtured through connection, collaboration, and constructive discussions. The collective brilliance and individual talent I witnessed and interacted with did more than inspire me. These experiences sparked in me an unyielding urge to test new waters, push boundaries, and create art that was not just appealing, but immersive, transformative, and alive. Being around fellow pioneers, dreamers, and doers allowed me to tap into synergistic energies, resulting in a richer and profound understanding of my craft, an impact that I still feel in my work even today. Soon after my meeting with Liam, a major milestone happened in my digital life. It was July 2022, and I decided to stream my favorite VR game on Twitch. I had always loved the sense of community at Twitch, the way it brought individuals together over shared interests and passions. But this time it was different. As soon as I began streaming, I could feel an unprecedented level of engagement from the audience. There was a steady increase in live viewers, comments started pouring in, and the atmosphere was frenzied with excitement. Every kill I executed, every challenge I overcame in the game was met with cheer, boosting my adrenaline levels. But it wasn't just the game that resonated with the audience. It was also the connection I had with them. I made it a point to interact with them, to reply to their comments, joke around, share little snippets of my life and my work. This created a sense of familiarity, a space where they not only watched me play but also partook in a shared cultural fabric, woven around gaming, art, and technology. As the game progressed, I noticed something incredible. The rise in viewership was bringing an influx of new followers. It felt surreal to realize the immense reach Twitch had given me, connecting me with enthusiasts, professionals, and even novices from various parts of the world. The realization dawned on me that my channel had started to capture the interest of a wider audience, quickly turning into a breeding ground for sharing my love for gaming, VR, and design. This success wasn't just a stroke of luck or a one-time affair. It was the product of countless hours of efforts behind the screen, endless gaming sessions, a dedicated work ethic, and a thirst for creating a meaningful impact in the virtual community. This event catalyzed my presence on Twitch. It became a symbol of acknowledgement from my viewers, validating my efforts and instilling in me the confidence to further explore the enormous landscape of gaming and digital art. That night, I returned to my apartment filled with a sense of implausible joy, a whirl of emotions, excited, anxious, and utterly gratified. As I sat at my desk, staring at the follower count that had burgeoning overnight, I couldn't help but feel a stir of pride. My passion for gaming and digital art was no longer just a personal pursuit, but had taken on a much larger role. It was as thrilling as it was terrifying to realize that I had, even if inadvertently, become a notable figure within the gaming community. It was an affirmation of my hard-earned, patient endeavors, and a poignant reminder of the ever-expanding opportunities available to me. Striding towards my dreams, I had found a platform where I could unite my love for VR, digital art, and gaming, all while creating an impact on the world. The experience was empowering, a gateway to a future where I would thrive professionally, all the while doing what I loved most. Just as I was busy making strides in my professional life, a storm was brewing in my personal one. Zach, the tech enthusiast I had formed a special bond with over my passion for digital arts, had become a significant part of my life by summer 2022. I cherished our lively late-night discussions about the latest technology trends, virtual reality, and of course, digital art. Yet, as sweet as those memories were, there was a hint of sourness that began creeping into our equation. One midsummer evening, I remember distinctly, we sat down for what was supposed to be a casual catch-up. The air was thick with the summer heat, but more so with tension. Zach, who was generally enthusiastic and supportive of my career, had an air of dismay as he addressed the elephant in the room, my unwavering commitment to my career. My passion for VR design and the unorthodox hours my freelance work required were things he had been understanding of, or so I thought. But that evening, a less understanding side of him surfaced, pulling our differing aspirations, priorities sharply into focus. An argument was inevitable. While he highlighted the imbalance in our relationship due to my overinvestment in work, I found myself at a crossroads. It was clear to me that I had a tough choice to make. Do I tune down my ambition, temper my growing career, or stand my ground? Zach was important to me, and the thought of losing him was painful. Yet my career and my passion was equally significant. That was the night our paths began to diverge. We failed to see eye to eye on our future approaches, stirring doubts and concerns within us. As much as it pained us both, we decided to go our separate ways, believing it was the mature decision for both of us. My relationship with Zach, much like a song that had reached its final note, had sadly drawn to a close. Yes, we did love each other, there was no denying it. But sometimes love alone isn't enough, especially when dreams and aspirations fail to align. That night, I returned to my now lonely apartment. Staring at an empty room but a heart full of mixed feelings, the day's exhaustion started washing over me. The bright, vibrant colors of my next VR project waiting on my workstation seemed rather dull, much like how I felt on the inside. The exciting world of freelance VR designing and Twitch streaming had taken a toll on my personal life, resulting in a bittersweet heartache. It's funny how life sometimes presents you with these perfect storms of happiness and pain, isn't it? Barely a week had passed since my breakup with Zach, and in a surprising turn of events, I found myself diving back into a project that suddenly seemed even more urgent, even more demanding. Not that I was complaining. I've always been the kind of person who seeks refuge in work during times of emotional turmoil. My workstation took me in with a familiar glow, a strange sort of solitude that seemed comforting. The dull ache of loneliness somehow got lost in the vibrancy of the virtual world I was creating. It's a bit ironic. In my quest to design beautiful narratives for others, I found myself escaping from my own narrative, my reality. And I suppose in the midst of this creative furor, I discovered a resilience within me that was hitherto untouched. Every click, every stroke on the virtual palette, every carefully crafted 3D asset felt like a catharsis, a way to escape this tangible world into an abstraction of my making. Days blurred into nights, and nights into days. My hectic schedule seemed like a whirlwind of design briefs, Twitch streams, and an overabundance of coffee. Yet despite the manic pace, an unexpected peace filled me. I was actually starting to deliver some of my best work, thanks to the very personal struggle I was dealing with. Inadvertently, the emotional upheaval generated a creative spark that furnished my work with a unique touch, a rawness that spoke volumes. It was as if my own personal story was seeping in and influencing my creative output in surprising ways. I poured out my emotions, my experiences, my heartaches, not through words, but through abstract graphics and designs. In my virtual creations, people found a connection, a resonance. Creating digital storylines for others became my story, as I simultaneously directed and healed my own life. The world of virtual reality I was attempting to create out of a heartache, it seems, was taking shape far more beautifully than I had imagined. With every project completion, every successful Twitch stream, I was building not just my career, but also rebuilding myself. They say that art imitates life. Little did I know then that my life would imitate my art as well, shaping me into a stronger, more resilient, more unyielding version of myself. I had finally begun to put the finishing touches to my extensive project, the one I had been working on ever since Zach and I parted ways. Despite the whirlwind of personal emotions, I found myself lost in the intricate details of my work, my mind dancing between the creative flow and the lingering sense of loss. It was an exhilarating confluence of passion and pain, a blur of pixelated landscapes and whispered goodbyes. Every virtual brushstroke was heavy with my own affectations. Every 3D asset seemed to carry a tiny piece of my heartache. But as I saw my project coming together, I realized that I was crafting something that was genuinely me, a kaleidoscope of my dreams, my fears, my resilience, a physical manifestation of the raw emotional turmoil that had engulfed me. At times, this intricacy felt overwhelming. The lines between my work and my emotional world began to blur. Yet, each day that I sat down in front that glowing screen, something compelled me to pour my heart and soul into my work. My heartbreak was shaping my art, and in return, my art was healing me. It was clear that my personal setbacks had led to a surge of untapped creativity. The designs I crafted were raw, real, reflective of my own emotional headspace. I wondered if others would see it too, whether they would feel that subtle vulnerability echoing from within my digital domains. As the day of the project's completion approached, I felt a certain euphoria mixed with an unmistakable sense of trepidation. This project, it wasn't just about the work anymore. It was a testament to my emotional journey, a chance to emerge stronger from heartbreak. Would my clients see it? Would they appreciate this very personal touch? Only time would tell. And then it was done. I remember that day vividly. I sat back in my chair. A wave of accomplishment washed over me. My emotions poured out in the form of virtual creativity, and I found solace in the fact that I hadn't allowed heartbreak to overshadow my focus. Instead of crumbling under the weight of personal setbacks, I had channeled my emotions to fuel my work, resulting in a project that was significantly more poignant and personal than anything I had ever produced before. In that moment, I learned an important life lesson. Your personal struggles do not break you. Instead, they make you stronger and guide you towards something truly exceptional. And seemingly, it was only in the face of adversity that I discovered the brilliant resilience within myself. As I hit the final submission button that day, I remember the deep breath that had escaped me. The mix of relief, joy, and anticipation was way more intoxicating than any drink I'd ever had. The word submitted blinked back at me from the screen, and it felt like a physical weight had been lifted off my chest. There was a kind of beautiful vulnerability in sending my work out into the world. Every angle, every texture, the play of light and shadows stowed away in the corners of the digital realms I had created. They were all parts of me, and I was setting them free. As a child, I'd loved to release paper lanterns during the Mid-Autumn Festival. There was something magical about watching them lift into the air, gradually turning into tiny flickering stars against the dark sky. As I watched my fully rendered, passion-filled project float away into the vast ethers of the internet, I realized this was my modern-day lantern release, my multi-dimensional electronic talisman. But along with the pride and satisfaction, there was this weird sense of loss. This project had literally been my rock during a tumultuous time. It was more than a matter of pixels and polygons. It was my solace, my confidant, my emotional outlet. It was a living testament to the roller coaster of emotions I'd been riding since my breakup. Now that it was out there, was I to become an orphan of my own catharsis? The dread did creep up, I'd be lying if I said it didn't. Yet, in my solitude, one thing was clear. I wasn't defined by my emotional tremors. I was so much more. My resilience, my depth, my ability to rise from sinking sands elevated me. I had discovered that I could use all these intricacies to my advantage in some way. The proof lay in the core of the digital landscape I had just crafted. The fact that this was the most poignant and personal artistic piece I had ever created was the silvery lining in my clouded days. In any case, the skill to translate the tumultuous storm of my emotions into the calming sea of my art, that's what my journey so far had taught me. So as I set my lantern adrift in the professional sphere, happiness welled up within me, because I knew I had molded my own saga of resilience into my designs, thus maximizing their authenticity. And as I looked back at how far I'd come, what echoed in my mind was that resilience is truly the best art form.